Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry we've missed a couple of episodes, but this fat guy flew over to Paris to spend some time with my kids.
Eating some baguettes.
But guess what? You baguette it right. We're back.
You're listening to the EduTechGuys. EduTechGuys.com.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of EduTech Guys. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, turning on, downloading all the good stuff.
Yeah, just check it out. Check us out. Check it out and check it out too. Check us out. Check it all.
Check it.
Go to the grocery store and check out. Listen, you can check us out on the web at edutechguys.com. It's got all the good stuff, all the links, everything you need to know. I used to say you could Google it, but just go to edutechguys.com.
It is everything you need to know. Everything you've ever needed to know.
We are the only EduTech guys on the web. I know. I checked. I asked I'm pretty adept at technology, so I just scream out in a room wherever I'm at. Internet. Are we the only EduTech guys on the web? And some weird female voice from the back of the house yells, "Shut up!" It's my wife. She hates it when I call her internet. Hey, listen. It's been a minute, but I was in Paris with my youngest. She graduated with her
that's so
master's,
cool, man.
I went over I've retired, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be that dude, and I was that dude,
that guy,
that fat guy hauling around, going, "Y'all got a hamburger?"
Wearing your raspberry beret and smoking your cigarette.
Yes, that's right. I got my cigarette. I've got my... It was good times. I stole that from the Smartless guys. From what's his name? He always says that. I've got my cigarette. I've got my mistress. You know, it's all I know is I'd like the long bread, and don't give me that sparkling water. I want stuff straight from the tap. Put it here on the table.
Yeah. But did you have a Royale with cheese?
I did. I actually made a point. I had a quarter pounder with cheese, and I have to say, the McDonald's in Paris, in France. Wow. I mean, they've got stuff we don't even think of here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, they had little sliders and stuff like that. It was really quite delicious.
Man.
Being a connoisseur of the old Mickey D's.
Yes, well.
But, I learned some very important stuff over there. It's that, you always say bonjour. That's like a thing. You don't do that. You say merci. Merci. Bonjour, everybody.
Bonjour. Hey, bonjour. No.
I would walk in and say, "Thank you. All right. How are y'all doing? How's your mom and them?"
How's your mom and
yeah. I was way out of place. Luckily, I have that look about me that I would sit down and they go, "Un momento, we bring you the English menu." Thank you.
Like, yeah.
I don't want to know that foggy grow on my stuff right there.
That's right.
Hey, listen, it's good to be back. Lots going on in education, lots going on in the world. World's changing. It always is changing. That's how, but there's a lot going on in the world, and it's really interesting. Charter schools and private schools and, vouchers and money and the dissolvement of the Department of Education. And, I have this feeling, I know my wife feels that way. She's still out there lugging it in the hard world. David and I don't really, we're not fighting that fight, but our wives are still fighting that fight.
They are.
And, you kind of start to feel like, and I think we've all felt like this way for some time, there's not much you can do about it. There's not much you can make a change to do. Mm-hmm. And I think I have to disagree. It's all about working together. It's all about unionizing. But, I think that we can all agree that there's some things we could do in the classroom that could help, the global change of education, so that when they start looking, they go, well, why are these classrooms doing better? Why are these, schools doing better? What's happening here? And then they realize that they drill down and it's coming from the classroom. That's where the change is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we are very, I'm going to use the word blessed, but we're very blessed, fortunate, pick your word, that both of our wives, they have managed to, and they continue to manage to find ways to reach the students, and get the kids educated and teach them, even with whatever limitations and restrictions, and in some cases flat out, scripted lessons and the whole 9 yards, they still manage to find ways to work in and around some of those restrictions, but still, abiding by those. That's what my wife and I were just talking the other day, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but whatever it was, I was like, well, just go do such and such. And she's like, I'm not going to, she said, I'm a rule follower. She said, I am not going to go do that. I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to know. It's, you just, teach this thing or do this thing. I wish I could remember what it was, but she's like, no, I'm a rule follower. She said, I'm going to stay between the lines. She said, now, am I going to, butt right up against that line and kind of ride the line a little? Yeah.
Throw some sparks off that.
But, right. So, I think that's where, if you're out there in education and you're struggling with the restrictions that are being put on you, or it feels like, there are definitely ways that you can still work within those and still reach the students, and like you said, affect that global change from within your classroom.
I think you hit it on the head there, talking about your wife, and my wife kind of does the same thing, but I think we'll use your wife example here, because through you, I know her and the way she handles her business, and she is a rule follower. These are the rules. This is what we do. But she does, like I said, scrape that fender right up against the guardrail and throw some sparks. But I think what's interesting about that is that your wife, and I think we all are, every teacher is, when you really put your mind to trying to get as close to the edge as possible, then you usually have a breakthrough and learn something and help your kids at the same time. Because you're running along that till you find that open crease and you go, oh, there's that open crease. There's where the water can treat. Yeah, we're water. And I think some of us would shut down before we got to that point. It's like, why am I even trying? I'm just going to sit here and do what they tell me to and be miserable. Well, if you're going to be miserable, you might as well be miserable on your own terms and be that water, look for that crease. Because inevitably, if you think about it, the cause and effect of what we do, when we're really working hard to find any other way to do it. I got to find $10 to put gas in the car. So you're digging through every couch cushion that you got, whatever it is, there is always a means to an end. And it also teaches you a lesson. Okay, I'm never going to get to the point where I have to dig in the couch cushion for quarters and change to put gas in the car, whatever it is, but I think that's the big deal. And I think in the classroom right now, there's some things we can do to start making sure that the teachers get back that domain that they should have been able to rule the whole time. Because I'm a believer that the classroom should be their domain, and they should be allowed. You want what achieved, then you've hired these highly educated people who have been trained through PD every summer. Hey, listen, we know you worked, this 40 hours a week, but we're going to need you to do another 700 hours of PD over the summer. And this one's on escape rooms with colors. Oh, well, that's going to teach math. No, anyway, I digress. Anyway, I think there's some things you could do in the classroom that you could start to make a difference and show your administration, which shows their administration, which shows the state and whoever else is going to, I don't know. I think they're going to replace Department of Ed with some aliens. I don't know. And aliens, I mean, from space.
I know. Not the ones that are currently running.
Not the ones that are running for their lives in this country at this point, trying just to keep their families together. But, I think that, it's time to get away from the Chromebooks as much. And you would think the EduTech guys wouldn't say that. But, I read some great stuff for some great education leaders that said, you only need about 2 or 3 hours a day to teach academics. I agree. And it's funny, you said at the beginning, we're doing so much more to try to reach kids. Mm-hmm. I don't think trying to be their best friends and huggies and kissies all the time and everything else is the deal. I think teaching them how to solve problems and how to meet their needs on their own as best as possible, head on, knowing that there is a safety net, which are those classroom teachers, is the best way to go about it.
Well, and of course, we're old school, so I'm, we've
ain't no fool like an old school fool. No.
But I mean, I can flat out remember I had several teachers that who truly had some of the biggest impact on my life were the ones who stood in front of the classroom and would flat out say, "I'm not your friend. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not your enemy. I don't hate you. And I don't want you to have ill feelings toward me necessarily." They didn't say it that way, by the way. But I'm cleaning up a lot of stuff. We could do a lot more back in the 70s and 80s than we can now.
He still got chalk dents in his head.
Yeah, that's right. Spent a lot of time with the eraser, getting the chalk dust out of my hair, what hair I got left. But I mean, they'd be like, "Listen, I'm here to teach you. You're going to learn this stuff. And, we're going to have fun along the way." Some of them would say, "Hey, we're going to have fun along the way. But remember, at the end of the day, I'm the teacher. You're the student. We're going to learn this stuff." Mm-hmm. And I think some of that, frankly, I think some of that is long lost with, everybody trying to be buddy and friends with the students. And I understand that, students are going through a whole lot of stuff, and I understand, you as the educator may be the most positive influence in a child's life and in their world, while they're at school. And I get that. And that's great. And you can still do that, but also laying down the groundwork, laying down the rules, and reaching out and saying, "Hey, you're going to learn, or I'm going to teach you anyway, or try to teach you. You may or may not learn, but I'm going to try to teach you. We got these things to do. We got these, we're going to try doing it this way. And if this way doesn't work, maybe we try another way, or, but I do agree with you in terms of, sometimes, and again, it's hard to believe the EduTech guys are, saying this, but sometimes you got to step away from the electronic technology. There are all kinds of tools and resources available that help you get your point across and teach the lessons that are much more functional and much more tactile and much more, for lack of a better word, experiential than what you're going to get, seeing flashing stuff on a screen.
You're exactly right. And I'm going to give a shout out to another podcast, another group of people doing some stuff. Ray Hewitt's team. Yeah. With Teachers Deserve It. They get it. They're realizing what teachers deserve, and they're creating. They're not trying to. They are creating PD to help teachers, really take control of their classroom and take control of the educational value and educational direction that they're going. Having said that, I look at schools that are project based, and I look at robotics programs, and I look at the East Initiative. I look at things like that, and you find students who they get their hands on, and they work in a team. Mm-hmm. And there's the thing that's interesting is this country's never been it's been about being the solo artist, but it's also about being in a group and knowing that fine line. And it's about leadership, and it's about knowing where you lead. We were just talking about an incident, something you and I are dealing with, where we've seen organizations take something that used to be handled by one group of people, and now it's being cut up into multiple pieces. So everybody gets to be a leader. Well, that's fine if they can lead that thing, if they can handle that. But just to do it because we think it's going to make it better, I think is a bad idea. But, that's the hard part now is I don't know if teachers ever actually sat down. I think they did in the 70s and 80s and 50s and 60s and maybe earlier in the break room and talked about some of this stuff. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But, we talk about this all the time, and how to facilitate, to help facilitate global change in education is banding together. That's it. I mean, we were talking the other day, we don't work together anymore on a daily basis, but when we did, we could attack a problem together and bring both of the expertise we both had into it. And when we had our other sysadmin and our other network engineer, and, when you work with a group of people and everyone brings in their expertise to the problem, and you get along in doing that, knowing that this is the goal overall, I know education has been preaching that for a while, but I think that is another way, is that the teachers on your hall, the teachers in your collective educational area, it's time to band together and say, well, we're all going to do this. We know it's going to cause a little friction with the powers that be, but as long as we achieve what we're supposed to achieve, then you can't negate that win.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a really big deal. But that's just our 2 cents on the whole thing. I mean, you could get into depth of this. I would highly recommend you check out Teachers Deserve It with Ray Hewitt. It's out there on, there's a Substack. You can check Substack for it. In fact, we are getting ready to fire up a Substack for the EduTech guys with some more of this ramblings written down.
That's right. So you can read our rambling.
Yeah, David's actually has correct grammar and punctuation. Mine's just run-on sentence after run-on sentence. A lot of commas.
Jeff's is words on the page, but you have to put it together. Some assembly required. Yeah. You have to put them in the right order.
I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of drawings.
A lot of drawings.
They take me over the wall.
My name is Simon.
A lot of drawings, and there's going to be colors, and I got my Apple Pencil out. I'm going to color in stuff.
There you go.
That's how I roll. So, hey, listen, there'll be more coming from us. We're back at the mics, and we'll hope to provide you with some stuff. If you'd like to reach out to us, don't forget, go to edutechguys.com. You can get in touch with us from there. Give us some examples of some stuff you'd like to hear us talk about. Visit us on all your social media. We're out there too. We put up pretty pictures and
reach out to us and let us know what you're doing in your classroom. How are you facilitating that global change from your classroom? Because we want to hear about it, and we'll include it in a future episode. We'll talk about it.
Maybe
we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't.
We'll throw dice in the corner, and if you come up, and you win.
I know you are, but what am I?
Got to roll a 4. Hey,
not one. Oh man.
Hey, just don't roll 2 snake eyes. Oh, you jinxed us all.
I know EduTech guys get some nerdy conversation going.
We're some weird dudes. Hey, listen, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to the EduTech Guys, edutechguys.com.